In the heart of East Africa, a groundbreaking discovery is shifting the global conversation about wealth and power. Uganda, a country with a modest GDP of nearly $50 billion, has unearthed something extraordinary: an estimated 31 million tons of gold ore, the projected value, an eye-watering $12 trillion. That figure is so massive, it could theoretically wipe out the entire national debt of the United States and still leave trillions on the table. This isn't just another mineral find. It's a potential game-changer, one that could catapult Uganda to the ranks of the world's wealthiest nations. But this isn't just a headline about gold. It's about what happens after gold is discovered. For centuries, Africa has been rich in natural resources, yet its people have remained poor. From diamonds and oil to rare earth metals, the continent's treasures have often been extracted and exported by foreign entities, while the locals have been left with polluted lands, broken economies, and little to no benefit. This recurring tragedy is widely known as the resource curse. However, this time, Uganda seems to be taking a different path. President Yoweri Museveni has drawn a firm line. He has banned the export of all raw, unprocessed minerals, insisting that Uganda will no longer ship out its wealth in crude form. In a bold public statement, he recalled how certain districts were planning to export raw iron ore to countries like India. Museveni's response was unflinching. "Over my dead body," he said. His government has now made it illegal to export raw gold and other minerals, signaling a dramatic shift in how Uganda intends to handle its newfound riches. Museveni's message is loud and clear. The era of exploitation is over. Uganda aims to process its own gold, build its own industries, and reclaim control of its economic destiny. It's a daring move, one that goes against the traditional model where foreign powers profit, while host nations remain impoverished. This new strategy could either transform Uganda into a beacon of African self-reliance or provoke backlash from the global powers that have long controlled the mineral trade. To truly understand the weight of Uganda's decision, one must look at Africa's painful history with resource extraction. The continent is home to vast deposits of diamonds, oil, gold, cobalt, and coltan resources that power the modern world. Yet, these riches have often sparked civil wars, economic instability, and foreign interference. Countries like Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and the Democratic Republic of Congo have all suffered from the violent consequences of unregulated resource exploitation. In many cases, these resources benefit everyone except the citizens of the countries where they're found. Foreign corporations, often backed by their governments, typically arrive with funding and equipment, dig up the raw materials, ship them abroad for processing, and sell the refined products for enormous profits. Meanwhile, the countries of origin receive minimal royalties, suffer environmental destruction, and watch their people displaced and impoverished. President Museveni has labeled this model as economic leakage, where Uganda's wealth slips through its fingers into foreign hands. Uganda is no stranger to this cycle. For years, its mining industry has been dominated by informal operations that are difficult to regulate. On top of that, Uganda has become a known hub for smuggled gold, often coming from conflict-torn neighbors like South Sudan and the DRC. This has made it even harder to build a legal, profitable, and transparent mining sector. But now, the script is being rewritten. The government's blanket ban on exporting raw minerals is not just about economics. It's a patriotic stand. Museveni has even suggested that if Uganda cannot refine certain minerals today, they should remain underground until future generations are ready. Let them stay in the ground. When our grandchildren come, they will extract them, he declared. This stance challenges centuries of tradition and a deeply entrenched global system. By insisting on local processing, Uganda hopes to retain a far greater share of the value chain. A single ton of unrefined vermiculite, for instance, may fetch just $25, but once processed, its value jumps to over $400. That's the kind of economic transformation Uganda wants: a shift from being a raw material exporter to a value-adding industrial economy. However, this approach isn't without risks. Establishing a local refining and processing industry requires massive investment, cutting-edge technology, and a skilled workforce resources Uganda is still developing. There's also the looming threat of international retaliation. Nations and corporations with vested interests in the current system may not quietly accept this challenge to the status quo. From economic pressure to diplomatic isolation, Uganda could face significant pushback. Even more critically, Uganda must clean up its own house. Corruption and poor oversight have plagued its mining sector for years. For this bold vision to succeed, transparency, strong institutions, and accountability will be essential. Still, the world is watching. Uganda's gold discovery could spark a domino effect across Africa. If successful, it might inspire other nations to take control of their natural resources and break free from the cycle of exploitation. This moment isn't just about Uganda's rise, it's about a potential continental awakening. And perhaps, for the first time, the gold beneath African soil may finally shine for its own people. In 2024, a report from Uganda's Auditor General revealed a stunning truth. During the 2023-24 financial year, gold worth over $3 billion was exported without proper permits. This oversight led to the loss of millions of dollars in unpaid taxes and government levies. For President Museveni's bold strategy to succeed, Uganda doesn't just need to build a new mining industry, it must also clean up the old one. The country must confront illegal mining, plug the leaks of smuggling networks, and make sure the benefits reach those at the grassroots level, especially the thousands of small-scale miners who rely on gold for their livelihoods. Uganda is walking a tightrope between national pride and economic challenges. The question now is, can it really deliver on this vision? Announcing a ban on raw mineral exports is one thing, enforcing it is another. But Uganda is not standing still. The government is pushing forward with an ambitious plan to transform raw gold into long-term wealth. This vision includes drawing in foreign investment not just for extraction, but for refining, production, and even manufacturing. One of the cornerstones of this initiative is a $200 million project led by a Chinese company, Wagagai Mining Limited, in the Bizia district. This venture includes both a large-scale mine and a cutting-edge gold refinery, expected to process gold to international standards right on Ugandan soil. It's also set to create over 3,000 jobs and boost local economies. And it's not just China showing interest. Uganda is attracting investors from the UAE, Canada, and South Africa, lured in with incentives like tax exemptions and access to cheaper electricity. President Museveni has taken a firm stance. Only companies that commit to value addition within Uganda will receive mining licenses. In fact, the government established the Uganda National Mining Company to ensure that the state retains a meaningful stake in its natural resources. Beyond industrial-scale projects, efforts are underway to organize the country's many artisanal and small-scale miners by bringing them into the formal economy through licensing, training, and access to safer tools. The government aims to improve working conditions while also capturing tax revenues that previously slipped through the cracks. The Bank of Uganda has even launched a program to purchase gold directly from these local miners, helping to increase national reserves and strengthen the Ugandan shilling. It's a full-scale transformation built from the ground up, aimed at creating a gold industry that serves the entire nation. This discovery doesn't just promise to change Uganda. It could send shockwaves through the entire global gold market. Right now, experts estimate that only about 200 metric tons of gold have ever been mined in human history. Uganda claims that its discovery of 31 million tons of gold ore could yield as much as 320,000 tons of refined gold. If even a fraction of that hits the market quickly, it could flood supply and drive global prices down. That would impact not only investors who rely on gold as a safe haven asset, but also central banks around the world that hold vast reserves in gold. However, a sudden market crash remains unlikely for now. First, there's uncertainty around how much of the gold ore will actually be recoverable. While the raw discovery is real, the yield of refined gold still requires verification. Second, much of the gold lies in remote regions like Karamoja, which lack the roads, electricity, and infrastructure necessary for rapid extraction. Building out these facilities will take time and major investment. Lastly, Uganda's own economic interests make it unlikely to dump large amounts of gold on the market all at once. A gradual release of supply would allow the country to benefit from steady profits without destabilizing global prices. Yet, even before these new mines reach full capacity, Uganda's gold exports are already climbing. Between March 2024 and March 2025, gold export earnings rose by over 42%, making it the country's top export. As new refineries begin production and output increases, Uganda is poised to become a key player in the global gold industry, giving Africa a stronger voice in global financial conversations. The story of Uganda's gold isn't just about wealth, it's about power, sovereignty, and rewriting history. For too long, African nations have watched their resources enrich others, while their own people remained in poverty. President Museveni's stance marks a major shift, declaring that African minerals must first benefit African citizens. With investment flowing into local processing, new industries rising, and artisanal miners being brought into the fold, Uganda is setting a new precedent. The Wage refinery stands as proof that this vision is becoming reality, not just rhetoric. If Uganda succeeds, its model could inspire other resource-rich countries across the continent to reclaim control of their mineral wealth. It could spark a movement of economic independence, one where natural resources are used to build fair, sustainable futures. But success is not guaranteed. Deep-rooted issues such as corruption, outdated infrastructure, and weak governance still linger. There's also the ever-present risk that new wealth will be concentrated in the hands of a few, repeating the same mistakes seen across Africa time and again. The world is watching closely. Will Uganda rise to become a symbol of African renewal and economic justice, or will it fall victim to the same pitfalls that have plagued so many before it? The outcome is still uncertain. What's clear is that the decisions made in the next few years will shape not only Uganda's destiny, but potentially that of the entire continent. Uganda's gold journey is far from over. Its final chapter will impact not just Ugandans, but the global economy. If you want to stay informed on stories that matter, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Your support helps us keep delivering thoughtful, in-depth analysis. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. This is a conversation that belongs to all of us.